Continuing with our data validation, in this session we'll be seeing on the data validation, which is a commonly used. Suppose we fix a condition for joining the MBA course within this date. That becomes easy for us, right? Suppose we say fix a deadline, right? I use the date function, and I type the year, say 2022, and month is 4th, and day, say I fix 15th April, and enter. So find that this is a deadline of joining the MBA course. So before that, you can't able to before that the student is joining on that date, it is acceptable. If he is joining later than the deadline, which is 15/4, it should not be accepted. The candidate should be rejected. He should not come, right? So we can fix the criteria on that, right? So selecting the cell from D4 to D7 and go to data tab, right? In that you come to the data tools group. In that data validation dialog box will open. In that you come to the allow, click this one and select date. So in this case we have to select the condition, right? So condition is here is it should be less than, it should be less than. So I'm selecting less than, should be less than 15/4, right? So the end date is asking for the end date, so I can click the end date is deadline is this 15/4/2002. I can click this and I lock the cell. So function F4, okay, function F4, I lock the cell and click. Now the criteria has been fixed. Let us check it, right? Suppose Rahul is joining on, say 11th March 2022. Yes, it is accepted. Suppose Jitin is joining after 15. Let us see, check it, 16/4/22. It will throw an error. Yes, so it will not accept the date of joining after 15/4. It will not accept. Suppose I put say 15/4 itself. We'll check what happens. 15/4/22. It will also throw the error, right? It should be less than 15/4/2022. So we have not put it less than equal to, it is less than, right? So suppose Abhishek is entering on the 12/2/22, it is accepted. Suppose he is joining 14/4/22, it is accepted. So here the condition that we have done is with the help of the date. Next we talk about the time, right? So time, suppose the time in and time out. So normally the in most of the institutions or organizations we find that there is a criteria time limit that the candidate has to be in the college. After that the candidate is not allowed in the college in the classes, right? There are some conditions set. So in that case also you can do the time in and time out also. So in this case I put the value, say time say 10 a.m, right? So I put it 10 and 5 minute, let's say 23 seconds, and enter. So suppose 10 a.m, so the candidate should be allowed before 10 a.m. After 10 a.m it should not be allowed, right? So it should be less than 10 a.m. In this case also I can select the, I can set the condition with the help of the data validation, right? So we'll be getting into the data tab, then go to data tools group and click the data validation. In this case you can select the time. So go to allow, you select the time, and the data that I'm selecting is, it is less than, it should be less than 10 a.m, right? And I'm selecting this cell called D12. Okay, I'm selecting the cell D12 because this is the deadline, right? So I'm selecting the cell D12 and press OK. Suppose the Rahul is coming say at 9:40, it is accepting. Suppose he is coming to college at 10 say 6, it will throw an error, it will not enter, right? It will throw an error. So similar way, suppose I enter is as say is coming at 8:55, it will accept. So this is the criteria for setting the time also. Then coming to the code, suppose you have the pin codes. So in India we have the pin code only at 6 digit that can be entered in India. So suppose I have to enter the pin code and have to set the limit for that. So in this case we can use text length. We can use the text length as the option for do the data validation part, right? or I'm selecting the cell from H4 to H7, right? And go to data tab, and that go to data tools group and select the data validation. So in this case, you come to allow, click this one, and you can click the text length, right? So text length. So here it will be asking for you the text length. What is the text length? In this case, I have to go for the comparison is that it should be equal. Okay, it should be equal to, select the equal to, the length should be 6 digits. So I'll be typing 6, right? And click OK. So in this case, suppose these are the pin code I have taken, right? So I'll just input the pin code. Suppose a wrong pin code is entered. Suppose I'm entering, say, 45122, then enter. It says that the data that you are giving as input is wrong, because it is having 1 2 3 4 5 only. So we require only 6. So I'll be typing 6 4 5 1 2 2 8. So it will accept. Suppose I type more than 6, what will happen, right? Suppose I type that 4 8 4 6 6 5 7 and then enter. It will also not ask for that, right? It is also throwing the error. So again, cancel. Then you have to just restrict the value that you have to enter is only 6 digits, right? So I'll be typing this 484 665, right? And this is the criteria that you can go for testing the conditions. So continuing with our data validation, we'll be getting into the input message. So input message informs the users in advance what input to be given in the cell. Normally the input message tells the user about how valid the data that you have entered into the cell, which helps in avoiding entering the invalid data. The message appears in yellow color, right? It's a yellow sticky note when you select a particular cell. It is similar to the comment or the sticky notes what we normally do while reading any textbook for jotting down the important points. You have the sticky notes where we stick in the particular page of the book and we jot down the points. Similar to that, right? So it appears in yellow message where you can select when you select the particular cell. So we have the assumption taken with a simple example. Suppose we have the companies given here, the symbols given here, and the sell date. So suppose the broker recommends us to sell the stocks before the recommended date. So suppose we take an assumption of recommended date with the say assume that take 2022 year, month is 4 and day say 26. I take 26 date. Suppose broker recommends us that before this 26/4/2002 you have to sell these stocks. So normally this I've just taken the sample of 10 companies. There may be about 200 to 250 companies that we manage the portfolio. So portfolio could be very large, right? At that time it may not be coming into our mind that this has to be sold before that. So entering will really becomes little bit small error will be that can be avoided with the help of the sticky notes. Now the recommendation that before this date you have to enter, that is the sell date. So broker recommends us that before this 26/4/2002 we have to enter that date that this stock has to be sold. So in this case what I will be doing that first you select the cells from D3 to D12 and go to data tab, and this go to data tools group, click the data validation. So when we into the data validation dialog box, in this you have the input message. So here it shows when cell is selected, show this input message. So in this case we have to inform the users that the recommendation date the broker with who he has given is on 26/4/2002. The date that should be entered in the cell should be before this date. So I put the title as recommendation date. Recommendation date is the title, right? Input message, enter the date before the recommendation date. Okay, suggested by the financial intermediary. Okay, intermediary report. Right. So this is the message I require. Then I put as okay. Now you find that the sticky note pops up. So when I hover the mouse around the cell, no sticky note is there. When you select a particular cell, the sticky notes comes up. It's a sticky note, right? So enter the date before the recommendation date suggested by the financial intermediary report. So in this case, whenever you click a cell, you find that the recommendation date is this one. Before this date, you have to enter this, right? Suppose I enter 23, 3 and 22. So I will be entering the date before this date.